And now, it's Ultimate Combat Radio with your host, Mike Stidham, on 1280 and 97.5 The Zone.
Take it.
Welcome to Ultimate Combat Radio, brought to you by Aztec Highway. I'm Mike Stidham, and it is Friday, the 15th of July. We're broadcasting live from Draper Days. Draper Days is located at 12500 South, 1300 East in Draper, and there's a lot going on down here. More on that in a moment, but joining me on the program this evening, the Kaiser, Brandon Kaiser. Brandon, how the heck are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing spectacular, Mike. We're hanging out here in your gym and doing the radio show on a Friday afternoon. What more could you ask for?
What more could you ask for? Also, the coach, Krill Coleman. Now, Krill, we've been jumping through a lot of hoops this week to try to pull off this radio remote. Thanks for all your efforts. You finally got it done, my man.
Well, my pleasure, boy. It was an educating week for me, finding out all about technology, which I'm very ignorant on, but, you know, we stepped it up a little bit.
Ignorant and your name go in a lot of sentences together.
They're commonly used together. That is true.
Very good. All right, this segment is brought to you by the Ultimate Combat Training Center and, of course, Mushin Self-Defense. Now, Ultimate Combat offers wrestling classes now. We started them last week. Numbers are a little bit low. I mean, to start an indoor season during the middle of July is kind of tough. So, but
what does that mean?
But the benefit to that is we got a lot of coaches and few pupils, and these coaches are awesome coaches. I got to tell you, my son is in the program, and literally in 2 classes, he's learned more than he did in a year at another not-to-be-named wrestling place that he went to last year. So I'm really pleased with the program. Coach Humphreys is awesome. And then he's got this little short guy that comes with him as well. And Cameron Tuller, he's a great guy. And these guys are really doing a good job with the wrestling program. And I understand, are you guys going to do a wrestling program up there as well, Brandon?
I don't know. We've talked about putting something in the works. Now, is your wrestling program just for kids, Mike?
We do a small kids program, and then it's teen and up. And this last week, what happened is all the MMA guys kind of hopped in there, and they had a good time. And they, really, it's a facet of MMA that I think goes looked over a lot of times with a lot of these fighters, because it does bridge that gap between stand-up and ground. It's so important that I think you have to do it.
Absolutely. I used to think jiu-jitsu was the answer to everything until I started wrestling a little bit, and we would love to get something going at Mushin. So if anybody's listening, or if you know of anybody that would be a good candidate to help run a program like that, give us a call.
I'll be happy to help you with that, because I love coaching wrestling, and I got a lot of good kids down here. So anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'd like to invite people to come out and check out our wrestling program. It's only $50 a month, so and you're going to get a lot of great.
Well, and getting into the beginning at the beginning is the best time.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to invite you to join our fan pages. We've got one for the gym, one for the radio. Obviously, the radio is facebook.com/Ultimate Combat Radio, and then the gym is facebook.com Ultimate Combat.
Sabrina's ready when you want her.
All right, we'd like to invite you to come down to Draper Days. We've got a booth out here. We've got a lot of things going on. In fact, we're going to be giving a lot of stuff away. We're going to give away some free memberships. And Brandon, I'm going to give away a free private training session. Are you willing to do the same?
Absolutely, Mike.
All right, come down and see us at the booth, and if you're from up north, we'll give you a free private training session with Brandon Kaiser, and I'll do one down here if you're from the south end of the valley. Also, we got a bunch of free T-shirts.
Can I have a free private training session with you, Mike? That is the question.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's on.
All right.
All right, we got T-shirts, we got water bottles, we got passes to the movie Captain America. That's coming out. We're going to do a pre-screening on the 20th of July, and we'd love to have you join us for that, so we're going to be giving those away.
We've got to be taking your son to that, right, Mike?
Oh, man, he's so excited about it.
I am, too.
All right, so we've also got some MMA gloves, courtesy of Aztec Highway. They're the competition-type MMA gloves, so we're giving those away. Stop by the booth. Come on down. Draper Days is a pretty cool event, and we do have a poll question for this week, though. Now, Brandon, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. One of our co-hosts here, Brandon Kaiser, had a stellar MMA career. He fought some of the top dogs. He fought Oliver Bradstreet and Donnie Raines. He fought some of the toughest guys in his weight class. But he had one loss on his record that we would call somewhat controversial. In fact, I was very controversial. Well, I thought it was absolutely a horrible decision, and one of those that we've been doing this a long time, and there are just certain things that stick out in your mind. And this is just one of them where I just kind of felt like we just had a lot of egg on our face after that.
And I want to point out, I timed that card. I wasn't a judge on that one.
Well, you've come a long way.
You're off the hook.
All right, so the trivia question is, who was that loss to? Now, this brings back, we were talking off the show a minute ago. It brings back some of those memories from the show. The annals of Ultimate Combat, we've been doing this a long time, and there are just certain things that really stand out to you. And one of them was the great interview I had with you after that fight, because I felt so bad about what happened, and I almost was apologetic in the interview, and I asked you, Brandon, what do you think about that decision? And I've never heard a better response. He said, we spent a lot of time teaching our fighters how to win gracefully. Well, tonight I'm going to teach them how to lose gracefully. That was good. That was Brandon. That was good stuff.
Oh, I appreciate
that.
Mike.
Are you tearing up again, Mike?
A little bit, man. All right, we've got a lot in store for you on the program, but if you want to stop by the booth, we're going to give you the free MMA gloves if you can answer the question, who did Brandon Kaiser lose to that he shouldn't have? Also on the program this evening, Bill Rapley of the Draper Chamber of Commerce. He'll be joining us in just a few moments to discuss all the goings-on here at Draper Days. What many may think of as a sleepy little town here, Draper, well, it's really exploding. And one of the guys responsible for that, obviously, would be the president of the Chamber of Commerce. We're going to talk to him about what's going on here at Draper Days other than the Ultimate Combat booth. And then
now, Mike, just to clarify, is the Ultimate Combat booth somewhere other than at your gym? Are they coming to your gym?
At Draper Days, Brandon.
And what is that?
Celebration. It's at 12500 South, 1300 East. We got a booth there. The UCE choppers there. We got all kinds of cool stuff. And AJ is there as well.
Spectacular.
All right, okay. Also, one of my favorite MMA fighters, local fighters, Chavez, Jerome Hatch, is on the program. Chavez, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
We actually put a microphone on him. We're going to let Chavez pipe in at any time during the show. But I understand you got a big event coming up?
Yes, I actually got two of them. I got one on July 29th and then also on August 17th. The first one's for Steel Fist Fight, their new promotion that is coming out. Glad to be, the main event against Cole Headhunter Rose. Just kind of settle some controversy there. We're 1-1. So
you guys have fought each other twice, and one is each of you won a fight.
This
and
is
so
a rubber match, right?
It's a rubber match.
Yep.
And let's you're not going to fight again after that, right? I mean, you got to prove it, settle it, and that's it.
That's that's kind of the only reason why I took it.
If you fight more than 3 times, you're dating, really.
You're Sugarloaf.
Yeah. Well, me and Sugarloaf are dating then.
All right, yeah, I guess.
He just can't take no for an answer.
Well, you're on a bit of a tear now, though. You got a big win over Casey Uscola. We talked about this last week on the show. I know Brandon was shocked by that.
I was.
Casey's he was a cast member on the Tough Show, good-looking kid, and you beat him up.
Yeah, it's still surreal. I mean, people are like, "Oh, that's a big win," and it's just another fight for me. I just, I love to fight, and I come off that loss against Jake Paul, and that's one thing, that maybe down the road I would, love to.
Like to avenge that one?
I definitely would.
Well, Jerome, you're supposed to think that way. You're supposed to think it's another fight, and let us fans be fans, and let us all be happy for your big win, and you just fight and do your thing, and that's good enough for us.
Does beating Casey Uscola make you feel more confident going into a rematch with Jake Paul, or were you already convinced at the end of the Jake Paul fight that you?
I was convinced at the end of it. I was pissed. We had trained that, and. This is MMA is a game of inches and seconds, and
really is.
And I gave an inch and got lazy for a second, and he capitalized.
What would you do different in a rematch against Jake Paul? I'm taking notes here, man.
I would win. I would win.
There you go, man.
So
whatever
it
you ask
takes.
more than that. All right, good. Also coming up on the program, if you're an athlete in any sport, but specifically mixed martial arts, we've got a special treat for you tonight. Dr. Tim Goodwin's going to be on the program. He's going to talk about building the perfect fighter through physical, emotional, and nutrition. Also, most common fighter injuries and things that you can do to prevent them. So if you have any questions, feel free to call in. He's going to answer your questions for you. And he also has the 6 factors of health that most professional athletes follow. Okay. One more reminder, the trivia question. Who did Brandon Kaiser unfairly lose to a couple years back in the Ultimate Combat? I'm going to give you a couple hints if you're not able to get it. Stop by the booth there at Draper Days and give us the answer to that question. We're going to be broadcasting live from Draper Days celebration when we come back.